Hi guys, my name is Katie Beachem and I'm a fourth year PhD student in Integrative and Evolutionary Biology out of the USC Dornslife program. And I'm also a second grade teaching assistant for the Young Scientist program. So today we're going to be talking about buoyancy and we're going to be making boats. And so before we talk about buoyancy, let's talk about gravity. So I'm sure you've heard this word, right? Gravity. And that's because gravity acts like a magnet, and it's super cool. It's what drags everything and holds us staying down on Earth. So if you've ever seen like the moon or astronauts, you'll notice that they're kind of floating around, right? And that's because some planets do not have gravity, but our planet Earth does. And so gravity brings everything down to the ground, right? And so if you've ever dropped anything, or if you yourself jump up and down, you'll notice that you always come down, right? And so that's what gravity does, is it pulls you down. And there's an opposite force to this that kind of is like in a battle with gravity. And the opposite of that is buoyancy. And buoyancy is kind of like bounce, right? And so buoyant just means that you can float. So instead of wanting to drag everything down, it's going to want to pop things up. So if you've ever gone swimming or maybe been in a big bathtub and you've laid back, you might be able to float, right? And what you are doing is you are being buoyant. So buoyant and floating are sort of the same thing. So while gravity tries to pull you down, buoyancy wants to make you float. So today we're going to test some items and some things to make an object that is buoyant. And how you can tell if something is going to be able to float is based on how heavy an object is. So things like boats, right, how they're spread out, they tend to float. Things like pool noodles, those float. But things that are really hard and heavy and dense, like rocks, those are going to sink down to the ground, right, down into the sea. Or things like anchors on a boat. So today we're going to try to make a floating or buoyant boat. So what I have here is I have a container. You can use your sink or your bathtub or a bowl, anything works. I just found this in my kitchen. You're going to need some tin foil. So this is that silver shiny stuff that you put over your food. We're going to make our boat out of that. You're going to need some water, right? Because everything that is buoyant has to be floating in water. And then lastly, we want to put something in our boat. So today, I'm going to use this bag of coins that I found. And I like to call these my little penny passengers. But if you don't have any coins around the house, that's okay. You could use things like Legos or maybe toy soldiers or anything else that mom or dad might have around that they don't mind getting wet, right? Because we want to make sure if our boat, in case it sinks, that whatever we have inside of it, it's okay that it can get wet. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do it along with you once, and then I want you to play and have fun and do it again, make different shapes, put different objects in, do whatever you think is best. Okay, so what we're going to do here on my little tin is we're going to fill it up halfway with water. I like to do halfway so that it floats, but it's not super messy. Now that we have that there, you're going to take a little bit of tin foil. And when you have your tin foil, you're going to make a boat out of this. Now, what are some things that we might need? Well, we want our boat to float, of course, and we don't want our pennies to fall out, right? So I'm going to make mine have sides. And you can make it any shape you want, so a triangle, or a circle, or square, or rectangle. But today, I'm going to make mine a square. So I'm just going to fold mine in half once, and then again, because I want it to have a sturdy bottom. And then I'm going to give it some edges. So I'm just going to fold the edges up. And it should kind of look like a little bit of a raft, right? And you can do this. You can fold it multiple times in any shape. And you just want to make sure it floats. There we go. And how we know it's floating is that there's no water inside of our boat. And now you're going to take whatever passengers you have, pennies or Legos, and you're going to put a certain amount in, and I want you to make a guess before you do this. So make a hypothesis, right? That's what scientists do. They make a guess or a prediction about what they think. So I hypothesize that my boat can hold 6 pennies. And then you're going to put those in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And voila! As you can see, my boat is still buoyant. It is still floating. So you can go ahead and repeat this with however many objects you want. Try different shapes, and most importantly, have fun and enjoy your time with science.